Hi, everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another My Little Pony Adventures in Equestria deck building game expansion for True Talents. Like the other expansions, this is obviously going to require a core set to play, but what is really neat about the My Little Pony games is the core set is mainly just used for the tokens and sugar cubes. But what's really nice is because it comes with 4 characters, so you can play a 4-player game, new hurdles, new challenges, new locations, brand new deck of adventure cards, your starting cards, all that stuff, and your standees. So you essentially just take this game out of the box. You can play it as its own expansion, kind of like its own little story. And then you can play the next one. Then after you've played it a few times, you can mix and match it with the core set or other expansions to make like your own new unique decks. You can switch them up whenever you want. So it's really fun. You're not just always directly mixing this in the base game and being forced to always play the base game stuff over and over and over. So we're just gonna hop right into it. Before I even get into the instruction book, we're going to show we have our 4 character cutouts plus their standees. So these are our 4 brand new playable characters. We have Zakora, Scootaloo, Sweetie Belle, and Apple Bloom. As you can tell, because I couldn't just name all these off the top of my head, I have never watched any of this new current series that these are based off of. I know a little bit about Little Ponies from way back in the day. So let's, we'll just kind of go through and see what we got. Alright, we're going to head into the instruction book first and see if there's anything. I'm going to zoom my camera back out a bit more. We'll just look if there's anything brand new. I don't think there's nothing super new unless you've only played the base game. So we'll have our 4 brand new ones. In there, our new decks, all of that fun stuff. There's, of course, going to show what their starter cards are to help them out. Of course, you also have to use the starter cards from the base game, but that's kind of a given there. Of course, you can always play with any of the original characters as well. So there are their new situations, hurdles, all of that. I'm not going to go through all the setup for all that. There are new locations. What is fun about this is there actually a new central location as well. The Crystal Empire Square, which we'll look at when we go through the cards. And that's fun, so you get alternate ones. Because some of the first expansion didn't have that. You had to still use the base one. So they're adding more cards like that. They do mention in here that if you'd like to, you could go ahead if you want to mix with the core game, for example, take out all the duplicate cards and then mix them together, and then you should be able to still make one full deck of the correct size. And that's just an easy, quick way to mix games together, and that's actually really fun. You could probably do the same thing with one of the expansions too. You could mix this in one of the expansions, just take out all the duplicates, which makes it a really easy way to combine expansions. And then after that, you kind of gotta figure it out. Alright, so we do have some new mechanics we're going to go over quick. They were in the first expansion as well, so if you've seen that, you probably already know these. But they are brand new if you have only played the core game. Which is why I go over, because you could buy this one first if you wanted to. So the first one is discovering a trait or keyword. To discover, you simply need to look for and count the name trait or keyword on any number of cards in your hand, under your control, in the hands of other players, and cards under their control, all during your current turn. Seeing a keyword on a trait or card in the adventure row, discard piles, etc. does not count towards your discovered totals. So, like for example, they're showing here, this card says you get +1 luck for each Crusader you have discovered, including Gabby. So you get 1 for her, 2, 3, 4 total. This could be from your hand. This could be in your opponent, another player's hand. And this Apple Bloom could be one that you've already played this turn as well. So you get 1 for everyone that's showing. So pretty simple. The Corsa has Pet and Crusader keywords. This one also adds Classmates. And the traits are Star, Moon, and Mountain. They still haven't added another one as of this. Another new feature is the Adventure Roll callout. Some new cards will have the text Adventure Roll before their effects. These are performed while they're in the Adventure Roll, the spot where you purchase cards from. But once they're removed from the Adventure Roll by buying, gaining, or discarding, they no longer have the effect, including when you play them. So usually give you some sort of bonus while they're in there, or maybe a reduced cost or something. But then once you play them, once you actually pull them out of there, they don't have their effect anymore. Alright, so there is a brand new feature here called Refashion the Adventure Row. Active players may spend books to discard up to 3 non-situation cards from the Adventure Row. The rest of the non-situation cards are moved to the right to fill any gaps. The row is refilled with one less card from the top of the adventure deck. You may only perform this action once during each of your turns. The cost is equal to the number of cards discarded. So if you discard 1 book, you spend 1 book, you discard 1 card. 2 books is 2 cards, but you get to refill 1. And 3 books discards 3 cards, but you refill 2 slots. So here they're kind of showing that. So this one, if they spent 2, they get to discard those 2 cards. These 2 then will slide over to the other spot. I don't know why they flop them around in the picture, because they shouldn't have. Yeah, as it says, yeah, the rest of them are moved to the right. Oh, okay, so that's even more interesting. I just assumed they all slid to the right. So what happened was this card moved over to fill in the gap. So if you purchased this card here, the first card would then slid all the way over. So the idea of it is, it's kind of a neat thing in lots of deck building games, is sometimes you get stuck with cards in the purchasable area that you just don't want anymore. You're like, either like late in the game, they're cheap cards, and you're just like, okay, we're never gonna buy these. There's no point for us to buy them. Or maybe early or mid game, you're like, I already got a copy of that. I don't need another one. Nobody else is playing that game style, particularly for this. Or they're just too expensive, maybe. It's like very early on, you're like, I can't afford 3 7-cost cards in here, so we can't buy anything. We're just sitting there. So this is a way for you to refresh your row, which is very good. But just keep in mind, though, if you do this too many times, you'll eventually run out of cards, because you're not getting them cards. They're not getting shuffled back into the deck. They're literally just going away. So that's definitely a neat new concept to add. It's something you could alternatively do. There's a new card type in here called Super Allies. These are based off Spike's Enchanted comic book. So while you're building up the game and everything, they're considered super allies, but once they're actually in play, you treat them as any normal ally for any other effects. And they just have listed as super allies because they're a slightly different card type. I will get into them. There's some solo play stuff too. So that's all there is for that. So we're going to go ahead and hop into this. So we're going to first look at our oversized character cards. I'm going to Scootaloo my camera back down to look at Scootaloo here. Alright, so she has the little shield symbol on them. It's kind of interesting. So she has starting side. Flip and pay 2 move. All players may move to a different location. Ooh, free move for, well, not free move, but extra move for every single character. That's definitely not a bad thing. And if we flip her over, we are going to get, pay any 1 resource token to flip this character to its starting side. So resource tokens are kind of valuable, but it's, not terrible to play. Her starting card is, when in doubt, chart it out. Pay 2 less, I'm going to call them luck, I always forget what these are called, to buy your next ally this turn. Nice, you're going to purchase some allies cheaper. Definitely not a bad thing. Up next, we have Apple Bloom. Starting side, flip and pay 2 book. Target player at your location may gain 1 sugar cube. It's trading it for sugar cubes is always good. And on the back side, we have pay any 1 resource to flip this to the starting side. They usually tend to do this. They make their abilities somewhat similar or costing, but their flip sides are usually about the same. So we have, I hate research. Draw 1 card after you buy your next card this turn. Ooh, that is always a fun ability because you buy something, you get another card. And then what's also neat is if there are any cards that put cards back on the top of the deck, it means you could get that card right away. That could be definitely fun. Our third pony is Sweetie Belle. Flip and pay 2 luck. So far I've had one that's paid for each. Has you flip and pay 1 of each cost. Each player at your location may pay up to 2 sugar cubes to gain 2 of the same sugar cube from the supply. So they have different effects, but they're all kind of similar. They have the same cost, and they have to involve characters at your location. And then pay 1 resource to flip back over. Relax, I got this. Plus 2 book if your character is on its flipped side. So this one's not bad, but it's not the best because you have to wait till it's on flip side to be able to get that ability. Alright, then our last one is Zikora. So I guess this is like a teacher, kind of what the book said. Flip and discard the top 2 cards from your deck. Remove 1 cloud from the active hurdle or final challenge. Ooh. So this could be a good one to have if you're finding them challenges becoming too hard. Yeah, you have to keep discarding cards from your deck, but you'll get them back. It's not the end of the world. It's not too bad. And then flip to a spooky, ooh, and wiggle your finger. And then pay 3 of the same resource to flip this character to its starting side. So instead of a resource token, you have to pay 3 of the same. So a little bit heftier to pay, but I think it'd be too abusive if you could pay for it too quickly. Alright, then we have take a second look. You may move this card from the game to draw 2 cards. So there's a couple of characters that have abilities like this. They let you remove their starting card, which is very interesting. Also, note that it's all 3 symbols. I think the other ones had 1 of each. She's got a little bit more powerful or potential linking thing there. Alright, before we jump into any more cards, we did have this reference card. Just reminds you of what your main phase is. Play cards, buy cards, refashion the adventure roll, move a location, perform tasks, use your character ability, resolve a situation, attempt to overcome a hurdle or final challenge. And then the other side just mentions how that the reference for the refashion the resource roll. Yeah, so this is not bad to have. It's kind of interesting they only gave you 1. Typically, they give you 1 per player. I guess this could you could just set it down on the table. Hopefully, because I'm guessing it's more for the refashion the resource roll one than the rest of it. Alright, we're going to jump into our location. So there's our map. All our different areas. Now we're going to look at our brand new starting location, our main location, I guess. The Crystal Empire Squares are all repeatable tasks. Pay 1 move to draw 1 card, or remove 1 card in your discard pile from the game. Okay, yeah, that's not bad, getting to remove cards. Or pay 2 book and 1 sugar cube to gain 1 sugar cube from the supply. So that you basically exchange your sugar cubes. And pay 3 luck to have target player gain 1 resource token. Ooh, because this could be very helpful because they all, the 3 main ponies all need resource tokens to reflip back over. So you could be sitting there, oh, I have extra, luck, I could do that to let my other guys get his token, and they could flip over and use their ability again. Awesome. We have another Ponyville Schoolhouse. Repeatable, pay up to 3 book to place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck for each book spent. Nice. And then we just had like that one pony said, hey, play a card, you get play a card from the top of your deck, right? So you got them, if you put a card in your hand that you know would be beneficial to redraw, maybe. Or at least set up your next turn. Task, pay 3 luck to gain 1 blue, cube, and 2 move token. Or pay 4 to gain 1 pink and 1 green. Pay 1 less book for each classmate you have discovered. Nice, this thing potentially being free if you find 4. Alright, the Sweet Feather Sanctuary. Task, discard 2 non-starter cards that have a target player gain 3 different resource tokens. Very cool. Pay 3 move to gain 1 green and a +2 book token. Or we have a pay 4 to gain 1 pink and 1 blue. Pay 1 less for each pet you have discovered. Nice, so it's kind of the same idea. A little bit cheaper for each one you get. And we have Cutie Mark Crusaders Clubhouse. Pay up to 3 luck to have target player draw 1 card for each one spent. Pay 3 book to gain 1 pink and gain a +2 luck token, or pay 4 move to gain 1 green and 1 blue, pay 1 less for each Crusader you have discovered. Neat. So you know what, these are kind of cool because what you could do for the 3 of them, if you like get a couple expansions and core sets you want to replay, like, oh, we're not really using any of the Crusaders. You could take this card out, swap it for a different one. Or if you know you like this idea, or you like this and like the classmate one, you could make sure you put more of them and maybe take out some of the characters that don't have it. It could make the game a little bit easier for you. Which is always nice. I have never had an issue doing things to make a game easier, because it's like, oh yeah, but stacking the deck seems cheaty. But if you're not having fun because you're losing, then what's the point, right? You may as well not stack the deck like you know what card ABC is, but if you're putting more cards that work together to give you bigger, better combos, so you're not struggling, it's going to make the game more fun. It'll make you want to play it more often. Our last one is the Metropolis card. Pay 3 luck to have target player gain any 2 resource tokens, or pay 3 book to gain 1 sugar cube unless you control no sugar cubes, instead gain 2. That could help right after a challenge. And then pay 6 luck to gain 3 sugar cubes of the same color. Pay 3 less if there is a cloud cover in effect. Okay, so later in the turn that would become more powerful. Cool. Alright, we're going to start looking at our next cards. We have 1 artifact in this set. You might be like, only 1? That seems borderline crazy. It's because we have the Super Allies, which kind of replace that level of power. Because again, you don't want to have too many high cost cards in your set. So we have Crystal Heart. Ongoing, at the start of your turn, you may add 1 sugar cube from the supply to this card, max of 4. On your turn, you may remove this card from the game to gain all sugar cubes on this card. Cool. So this is kind of a neat one because it's really only going to sit out for a limited time. Some of the other artifacts in the other sets, they gave you like a specific effect, and then you could either keep that effect or you could discard it for the one-time use thing. This doesn't have that ongoing actually doing anything, so it's basically just wait at least 4 turns and then use it when you need it. You might use it first, you might use it on 2 turns or 3 turns, depending on how quickly you need it, but this can be great for challenges. Alright, up next we're going to look at our Super Allies, just because they're all the 7 costs of the big high ones as well. The little comic book bubble there is just showing their trait. So we have Philly second. Alright, so a little chat bubble, that's really cool. The first time you perform this non-repeatable task or location this turn, gain a 2 move token. So it's also neat about the Super Allies is they have a -1 cloud. So this could definitely help you if you need to get rid of those clouds. But again, you don't want to purchase too many. if you buy a bunch, they're probably definitely good, but if you have too many in your deck, they're going to be too hard to purchase. The Masked Matterhorn. The first time you purchase an action card from the adventure of this turn, gain a +2 book token. Mistress Marvelous. The first time you purchase an ally from the adventure of this turn, you may remove a card from your discard pile from the game. Radiance. The first time you gain one or more sugar cubes this turn, flip your character to its starting side. Saddle Rager. The first time you remove one or more cards from your discard pile from this game, draw a card. Zap. The first time you purchase an artifact from the adventure roll this turn, gain a +2 token. And finally, we have Humdrum. The first time you flip your character this turn, draw 2 cards. Definitely not bad powers at all. Alright, so then we're going to be able to hop in and look at our regular ally cards next. Alright, so for each of these, we will assume I have 2 of them, copies of each, until I get to the point I'll have 1, which I will let you know. Just so I don't have to say 2 of this, 2 of that repeatedly. So we're going to start off with Diamond Tiara, who's a leader and a classmate. So many different keywords to trigger, which is always good. If you have discovered another classmate, each player may remove 1 card in their discard pile from the game. Nice, because there's decent. Yeah, this would be contingent on if you have classmates, which I think are mostly in this set, but that very good ability for that. It's kind of an interesting text to each player may remove 1 card if you just discover 1. It would have almost been better if, like, if another player has 1, they get 1, but that's alright. We have Twist, who's another classmate. If you have discovered another classmate, each player with classmate cards may gain +2 tokens. So I'm surprised they didn't list it like that for the other one. It makes it a little bit more powerful. We have Bulk Biceps. Flex your arms and give your best, then draw 1 card. Then if you have discovered another Wonderbolt, draw 1 card. I believe he's the only Wonderbolt in this set, so he's not going to trigger in this set, or at least not very much, unless you get the other copy of him. But if you put him in one of the other sets or combine it with one of the other ones, he'll trigger more often. I think there might be maybe 1 or 2 in the core set, but then one of the other expansions has a bunch of them. So that's what makes this really fun, is you can mix and match these. Alright, we have Charity. +1 for each classmate you have discovered, so I could get very powerful very quickly. Babs Seed, who's a Crusader, one of the few Crusaders in this set as well. Crusader also has a Cloud, so for 2 costs, be careful, because you get this probably early on. If you play it too often, you're going to end up with a bunch of Cloud, which is going to make your game really bad. But she does give you +1 book for each Crusader you have discovered, including Babs Seed, so she automatically gives you 2 books. Here we have Pipsqueak, who's another classmate. If you have discovered another classmate, each player with classmate cards may gain a +2 token. We have Silver Spoon, who's another classmate. You have discovered another classmate, each player may gain a +2 book token. Discord Honorary Cutie Mark Crusader, who's another Crusader, +1 move for each Crusader you have discovered, including Discord Honorary Cutie Mark Crusader, which is a mouthful. And then Gabby is our final card with 2 copies, who's another Crusader who gives you +1 for each Crusader you have discovered, including Gabby. It's kind of neat. The Crusaders work together doing that as well. Alright, so there's only 1 copy of each of these next cards. We have Apple Blossom Zakora, as I combined the words, Supporter. So we have some more Crusaders here who have Zakora may discard her entire hand and then draw the same number of cards. So this is one thing the expansions like to do, is they have extra cards in here that specifically do abilities based on the characters from the set you're playing. So if you're combining this with the core set, that's perfectly fine as long as you're using these cards. If or any other expansion. But if you start to switch out the characters and you start combining these with other sets, it may be worth, if you're not playing as Zakora, just even swap this out with one other card. And I would probably keep it an ally and try and keep it roughly the close thing. Either keep it with the same cost, either somewhere between 2 and 4, so it's right around the same amount, and with possibly the same symbol. So either keep it a 3 move with another 3 move, or another 2 to 4 cost card that also has a moon and a star if you want to kind of keep it even. Or maybe something that just produces 2, like something roughly in that area. Here we have Rarity Compassionate Big Sister, who has, if you're playing Sweetie Belle, may gain a +2 book token. So again, these are going to work very well for them. If you're not using them, I don't know if 5 cost for 3 books is that good. Maybe the leader keyword might trigger. But again, if you're not playing with these characters, it might be worth swapping them out for something else. Rainbow Dash, Cool Big Sister. Leader, Scootaloo may gain a +2 move token. And Applejack, Protective Big Sister is a leader, and Apple Blue may gain a +2 luck token. I know that's not luck, it's helpful. I did finally look it up. I'm going to keep calling it luck. Then we have last 2 cards. We have Shining Armor, who's a leader, is a +3 move if you control at least 1 moon. He also gives you a Sugar Cube, which is very powerful. Plus an additional 3 moves. That's 4 move if you have a moon. Which is pretty cool. And then our last one is Princess Candace. Gives you a Sugar Cube as well. Princess Candace would be discarded from the adventure row. Add +2 clouds to the final challenge. So basically, if you don't purchase her in time, it's going to be bad for you. It's always fun to include some of those cards in there. It's also supposed to be a more fun, lighthearted deck building cooperative game. It is nice to have a couple of even regular cards that might be stressful. They aren't just the situations that you can remove. It's like, hey, here's a super powerful card, but if you let it slack too often. Very cool. Alright, we're going to jump into our action cards. Be the same thing as before. 2 copies of each until I say otherwise. Emergency Guys Night. Each player at your location gains a +2 token. Taking the stage. So here's our first spot of Adventure Row. The active player gains this card if the team has suffered a setback this game. So, while this is in the purchasable thing, someone can get this for free as long as there's been a setback. What's nice is it doesn't have to be the first person that happens to. You could leave it for somebody else. But yeah, that's kind of nice in case the game goes bad. You can just get a free card out of it. That's the Spirit. If you have discovered a Crusader, each player with Crusader cards draws 1 card for each player at their location. It's still a bit more powerful if you're together. Graduation Day. Search your deck for an ally and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Simple drawing card. Always helpful. A Mile in Each Other's Hooves. Adventure Row. Reduce the cost of this card by 1 for each other player at your location. So all 4 are together. It's a free card. Very helpful. Friendship Field Trip. You may move to another location. If you do, gain a +2 book token. Cool. Great Wickering Stallions. Adventure Row. If you buy this card, you may move 1 other card from your discard pile from the game. Nice. Alright, then we have Sunshine from the Inside Out. Choose 1 card in your discard pile and place it on top of your deck. That's always fun, because then what happens, this could even work really well for a combo. You could buy a card, it goes to your discard pile, place this and put it back on top of your deck, and then play a card to let you draw a card. So essentially you could get that card you just purchased to use during that turn. It'd be a great setup if you have that combination. Buy 1, get 1 free. Adventure Row. If you buy this card, gain another action card that was beside this card in the row. I love this card because of the new refashion rule. makes this a really powerful card because basically, let's say this card was sitting here, was sitting to the left of Sunshine from Inside Out. And you're like, oh, I don't really want Sunshine from Inside Out for everything. You could use that action to get the refashion action to discard Sunshine from the Inside Out, move whatever card was on the far side over and to replace it. Then if you purchase buy one, get one free, you get that new card. So you could basically, and it could be on either side of this card, but you could basically dictate what card is next to it by using that action to purchase 2 cards. Keep in mind though, for you to at least get rid of 1 card, it costs you 1 book plus 4 to buy. So you'd have to have bare minimum of 5 books to be able to do that. But that could be a very valid strategy, especially because you can, although you can only use this once, if you can wait until a specific time to use it, it could be very powerful. Alright, we have a distraction to distraction. Gain 1 pink or 1 blue sugar cube. Just gaining cubes straight up off the bat is never a bad thing. And our last set of duplicates is Crusaders Forever. Adventure roll reduces the cost of this card by 1 for each Crusader you have discovered. So yeah, there's enough people have Crusaders, this could be a free card. I would imagine more often than not it's only going to get reduced by 1 or 2, but still that's pretty powerful in itself. Alright, so 1 copy of each of these. We have Mind Over Matter. Draw 2 cards and remove 1 card in your hand from the game. Friendship is illogical. Flip any character. It is now on its flip side. Gain 1 sugar cube. That's pretty helpful. It's always nice to have something to flip a card, and it's nice that it's not just flip to your starting side. It lets you flip it either direction. Because there are some characters that have, or other cards that get you benefits for being on their flip side. Can't we be friends? If you have discovered a Crusader, this card does not provide 1 cloud when played. So there, again, time it out right, it negates the bad side. High Roller Hustle. Target player draws 1 card, then target player removes 1 card from their discard pile from the game. Target player can be different. I love cards with options like this. My favorite type of cards. And then finally we have Bump Bump Sugar Lump Rump. Gain 1 resource token, then gain an additional resource token for each classmate you have discovered. That can give you a decent amount of tokens. I'm surprised there's like a max on that. Not like max 3 or something. But that is what they did. Alright. So up next we have our situation cards. There are always 2 copies of each of these. So again, these are always optional to put in your deck if you want to make the game a little bit more difficult. You can add, I think they recommend 4, so 1 copy of each, and then if you want to make it harder, even harder, add both copies of each. If you mix and match with other sets, instead of having 2 duplicates, you could have 8 different cards completely, or just shuffle all your situations from every set together and draw brand new ones. So what is neat about the situation cards is the hindrance ability up here is the same on every card in each set, or at least so far it has been. So if I play 4 from this set, 4 from the core game, that ability is going to be different for that. If I have, eventually if there's 8 sets, you could have 8 different cards, and each one could potentially have a different one, which then makes it hard to you can't just plan ahead for this. So this one says Apple Rock. During the end phase, add 1 cloud to the final challenge if your team has not suffered a setback this game. So as soon as you suffer a setback, that top ability is negated. So as long as you haven't set one, it's going to keep adding it. But once you hit 1 setback, then I guess leaving these situations in there isn't that bad. There's no real penalty anymore. Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting idea. So you know that if you're just playing with these, but then if you switch and you have some other ones come in, you wouldn't be able to rely on that. To resolve, pay 6 move, reduces by half if you have discovered a mountain trait. We have I Don't Want My Cutie Mark. Same effect there, but the resolve is pay 6 book, reduces by half if you have discovered a moon trait. Babs the Bully. Resolve, pay 8 luck, reduces by half if you discover a star. Your teammates may spend resources that aid you, so someone can help you out with that. And then the final one is Attack of the 50-Foot Dragon. Resolve, return 3 different resource tokens to the supply. Your teammates may aid you, but target player gets to draw 2 cards. So that helps kind of recover some of those lost cards that you would have had. Alright, we're going to jump into our final type of card, which are our hurdles and final hurdles and final challenges. We only got 1 copy. Alright, so here is our first hurdle. These are level 1. Of course, on the top, they're going to have your cloud cost for setbacks is going to be 2 per every pony plus 2. On the bottom, we have our chaos that we flip over for. We have the Hooffields and the McColts, which I still can't believe this is a card. Based off the, quote-unquote historical event. I know it existed, but I don't know if it's technically historical. It's just a family feud. So our overcome is 1 pink sugar cube per horse or pony, then flip 1 hurdle for its added chaos. And those all be fairly the same, so I'll shorten them up each time. Reward, move all task tokens from 1 location. That could be nice to reuse them again. And then setback, add 1 cloud to the final challenge. Like all players must move to the central location. That's Flutterback. Because she's a vampire, it looks like. The overcome is 1 green cube per pony, and then flip for chaos. Reward, each non-active player gains 1 sugar cube. The setback, move 1 situation card in the adventure row to the leftmost position. This will keep it from accidentally getting pushed off if you wait too long. So how was the trip? Overcome 1 blue per pony, then flip for chaos. Reward, reveal the next hurdle, then gain 1 sugar cube used towards overcoming that hurdle. Setback, discard all costs from the adventure row that cost 5 or more resource. Ooh, so get rid of all your high cost cards. Alright, our level 2s, which I like on some of here, are ally cards versus just resource costs. That's nice if they do different stuff for that chaos, because it doesn't, I can just build up a ton of sugar cubes and then jump in and have no issue. Yak's no need pony help. To overcome, it's 1 blue, 1 pink per pony, plus flip for chaos. Reward, target player gains 2 plus 2 luck tokens, or a green sugar cube. Setback, each player discards 1 moon trait. If you can't, discard 2 random cards instead. You can call me Princess Spike. Overcome is a pink and green cube per pony, and then flip for chaos. Reward, target player gains 2 plus 2 book tokens or a blue cube. And setback, each player discards a star. If you can't, discard 2 random cards instead. And then a vote for more diamond tiara, a green and blue cube per pony, and then flip for chaos. Reward, target player gains 2 move tokens or a pink sugar cube. Setback, each player discards 1 melt, and if you can't, discard 2 random cards instead. So it's kind of neat that all 3 of them are basically reflecting each other, and they like to kind of keep the cycles. So that way, if you want a very similar feel, you could take like level 1 from one set and level 2 from a different set, and they have kind of the same idea. Or you could again mix and match them all like the situation cards and have a bunch of weird random ideas, so you don't have any idea what's coming up. Our level 3 hurdles are Swamp Fever. 3 sugar cubes per pony, flip for chaos. Reward, each player may place 1 ally from their hand and discard from their discard pile into their hand. And then setback, add 1 card to the final challenge for each situation in the adventure roll. This could be very bad depending on how many situations are. It could also be 0 if there are none. We're not flawless. 3 sugar cubes per pony, flip for chaos. Remove 1 cloud from the final challenge. Setback, each player discards all ongoing cards they control. If you have none, pay 1 sugar cube instead. And our final level 3 is There Isn't Much Time. 3 sugar cubes per pony, flip for chaos. Reward, target player may remove 2 cards in their discard pile from the game. Setback, reshuffle all discarded hurdle cards and place them on top of the chaos deck. Ooh, because this could make you potentially have to re-deal with more chaos cards. Alright, so then we have our final challenges. We have our level 2s, we have Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, who have the cloud cover. So once we get 3 on there, it says players cannot buy more than 1 card from the adventure row per turn. At 8+, at the end of your turn, discard your cards with the highest cost in the adventure row. To overcome, each player must contribute 1 pink and 1 blue cube, and then flip 2 hurdles for their added chaos. We have the Maniac. For 3, we have action cards in the adventure row cost 1 more of its resource type. At 8+, double the number of clouds added when playing allied cards that provide clouds. So not a lot of them do, but the superhero ones in this set do definitely do that. Overcome, each player must contribute 1 pink and 1 green cube, then flip for 2 hurdles. And then Flim and Flam's Nefarious Plans. 3+, allied cards in the adventure row cost 1 more of its resource type. At 8+, at the start of your turn, reveal the top card of the adventure deck. If it provides a book when played, discard it. Overcome, play a blue and a green cube, then flip for 2 chaos. And then the final challenge, which is the final boss, King Sombra seizes the Crystal Empire. At 3+ cloud cover, players may only use 1 character card ability per turn. And then that'd be active, I kind of think, between everybody. 8+, players cannot remove starter cards in their discard piles or their hands from the game. Which might not seem terrible, but if you're getting towards the final boss, the last thing you really want in your hand are starter cards. So the ability to stop removing them is going to severely weaken your hands. And to overcome, each player must contribute 1 pink, blue, and green cube, and then flip for 2 chaos. Alright, so that is what we have for True Talents set. Lots of interesting new concepts up. I think there's a lot more discarding of cards. Not discarding, removing them from the game. Let's get rid of a lot more cards. Some new class types, and bunch more Crusaders. Keywords did you some fun stuff there. The super allies are kind of a neat addition instead of just artifacts. Alright, so the last thing I want to show off is not actually directly part of this box set, but it is an extra thing you can buy. So with games from Renegade Studios, who produce this, if you pre-order the expansions or any of their games, you usually get an extra bonus. For the My Little Pony games, you get meeple packs because of these little guys here, which I'm just going to go ahead and dump out. Obviously, since this game is no longer pre-ordered, because it's been out for quite a while now, as of this video, you can still purchase these later on for about $5. But if you do enjoy these games and you're going to keep buying more expansions as they come out and you keep an eye on them, you can pre-order them to get them for free, so you don't have to spend the extra money. They don't do anything extra special in game. There's no extra rules for them. They just replace their standees. Instead of having the little tiny cardboard ones, you can get these big, thick wooden meeples. They're kind of nice. They feel a little bit easier to grab, but again, they don't do anything extra special. It would have been, I guess, a little bit more cool if they would have been, like, cut down to the exact shapes or whatever. But that's alright. They're just basically reprinted on these blocks of woods. But there we go. So that's what we have for those. Alright, so that was True Talents, My Little Pony's Adventure in Equestria. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't for a reason, check out the core set, previous expansions. Keep an eye out for future expansions. And see you guys later. Bye.